Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, with special thanks to Nine Knives, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Antonio Hernandez, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. As we settle in for what, well, I'm not going to mince words. It's basically the Walgif episode, as we seek to secure the loyalty of our resident tiefling rogue. Or at least make him slightly less likely to betray us. That might be the best we can hope for with this guy. Now this will, of course, make for a talkier episode. This is mostly dialogue and skill checks, but that's fine. We'll just see if we can balance things out next time round. Maybe head out to the market and finish clearing out those last few optional combat encounters. Oh, and we do still need to pick up Darren. Walgif. Walgif gives you a friendly wave. Hey, Chief. Want to talk? I just thought it was time I learned a bit more about you, if that's all right. That depends, Chief. How much is more? Well, we can keep it light. Tell me about your family. My family? It's an interesting story, actually, but I don't tell it to just anyone. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day, my mother went down to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In my hand was a note, spritzed with expensive perfume, that said, "Take care of my little angel." My mother brought me home, and my father realized right away that I was heaven sent. They raised me as their own. When I turned 15, my mother showed me my baby blanket. It was embroidered with the coat of arms of an unknown kingdom, all in gold thread. Ever since then, I've been looking for my real parents. But it's not easy. Traveling takes money. So if you have a few gold coins, I'll pay you back as soon as I find my real family. I give you my word. Really? Gosh, is this what it's like when you try a bluff check with 0 points in persuasion? Walgif, buddy, you want to run that by me again? Seriously? Usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that, you know? A cute baby, a basket, a blanket. What's not to love? They look at me differently, as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit up on might have had a fancy coat of arms on them. Walgif laughs bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here. I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what was rightfully mine. And then I'd come back with an army, so I could watch the guards and merchants who pushed me around all my life bow and scrape before me. But that's not going to happen. Want to hear the real story? The true story is boring. My family is human, both my father and my mother. They used to live in a village nearby. I forget the name. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall and started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandma, used to fool around with a demon. When he heard this, Daddy Dearest got drunk, trashed the house, and then took off. I don't remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Canabras and left me with my grandma. She said to her, "You and your demon have ruined my life. Now you handle him." Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket, though. That part was true. But my grandma burned it because it was infested with lice. It wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. You think after all that, my grandmother saw the light, felt rightly ashamed, and kissed my horns? I wish. Walgif grins nastily, his yellow eyes flashing. People used to give her trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere, so she got angry. Normal kids get bedtime stories, see? But the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my ma a slut, and I was demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. So, that's the truth. Thank you, Woljif. That is a very sad story, and also explains quite a bit about you. Assuming it's true, of course. He could still be trying to work an angle. So, how'd you hook up with the Thieflings? Woljif grins, happily. I already was a tiefling, and life made me a thief. I've been in this business since I was a kid. My grandma used to say, if you don't work, you don't eat. And she gave me as an apprentice to Yeager, a tiefling neighbor of ours. He was a cunning old geezer. He knew how to take a purse off somebody's belt, how to cut open bags undetected, even do some magic. I used to climb through the basement windows and open doors from the inside while I was still small enough. And when I grew and stopped fitting through the windows, I decided I was done with my education. I repaid my grandma for everything she'd done for me, which was absolutely nothing. Why would I feed her if she wasn't bringing me any money? If you don't work, you don't eat. So I took off. I got bored of my teacher too, but when I as much as hinted at leaving, he said I owed him for my education. So I just nodded, and then I joined the Owlbears, the gang that ran our district, and told them that Yeager was working their territory. I don't know what happened to him, but I stayed with the Owlbears. Then their leader started giving me the cold shoulder. I did steal from him, but never that much, so I had to rat them out to the guards. Then I joined the Golden Hands. That was a good time. Rich pickings. Woljif, I'm noticing a bit of an unsettling trend here. I would have stayed with the Golden Hands, but the Northmen promised me a bigger cut if I told them where the Golden Hands kept their loot. I'm no fool, of course, so I told them. After that, I only had one option, to join the Northmen. And then the family came. At first, no one took them seriously, calling them tieflings and all that. But I felt it right away. They had power behind them, and they had more money. I'm always on the winner's side, Chief. That's why I joined the tieflings. And right on time. Some thugs came from the capital and made the Northmen leave. The ones who survived are in the family now, too. Just made them leave, huh? That's awfully convenient. Though, I do notice that's the one time he's not bragging about taking a more active role in essentially destroying his previous gang. Woljif, why don't you tell me a bit more about the Thieflings? Alright. I won't tell you everything, mind, but I can tell you a little. The Thieflings are Mendevian thieves. The gang was started in Mendev's capital by someone or other, and soon after they'd spread all over Galarion. They're also called the Family. You know why? Because us Tieflings are easy to spot. Wherever we go, guards always hassle us, asking, "Are you lost or some at, Hornhead?" We usually say we're visiting family, and if they say, "Oh yeah? Who?" you give them the name of a local Tiefling, who confirms everything, even if he's never seen you before in his life. That's why we're all brothers and sisters. There are rules. Who does what, who gets what cut. I won't say it's a lot, but they make it worth your while. They'll even heal you if you take an arrow. But the biggest no-no is this. You don't steal from the family. If you don't contribute to the shared pot, you'll get the cold shoulder. You won't be treated like family no more. And then everyone will hear that you went to visit some relatives who have a farm someplace. My best guess? The farm is in some underground well beneath Canabras where they breed grave worms. Heh, if Sister Charisme, our boss, looked the other way more often, I'd really be able to spread my wings. You know, Woljif, I gotta say, if I was working for someone who was constantly threatening me, I might just kill them first and maybe take their place. Just saying. Woljif laughs. Now there's an idea. Nice try, Chief, but I'm no killer, never have been. And assassins are expensive. You know they bumped up the prices last year? I asked a friend of mine why he charged so much, and he says to me, "I've learned to see the true value of my work. I read in a book that whatever you think you're worth, that's what you'll earn." Can you believe it? I didn't even know the mug could read. So I can't just have Charisme taken care of. It's too much trouble, and no one will like it. People respect her, mean as she is. Fair enough. It was just a thought. So tell me, Woljif, what do you make of Canabras? You know, not counting the current demon invasion and all. Oh man, it used to be such a hole. Then the Crusaders and refugees came here and things started looking up. Although it depends on who you ask, I suppose. Witches better steer clear of here, because Iomedade's followers are ferocious. Especially Halrin Shapik, the local inquisitor. He's a tough old goat. I didn't see it myself, but a serving girl at the tavern told me that her second cousin's son from his third wife is a paladin, and he said that Halrin takes an unsheathed sword with him, even to the privy. And when he sleeps, he puts it on a pillow next to him, and when he's in his cups, he strokes the blade and whispers sweetly to it, "You are my one true friend. You are the only one I can rely on." Is that so? Guess I should let Sela know how to take proper care of her new sword. Mirabet's giving us a hard time, too. You as much as look at some nice little bauble, and before you can think of taking it, before your fingers even twitch, she's coming for you. With her nostrils flaring and her fangs glinting. Scary woman. But even she's better than Sister Charisme, our boss here in Canabras. By our, I mean the Tiefling's boss. If you get caught by Irabeth, it's all out in the open. You go to prison or you end up as worm food. But if you step on Charisme's toes, poof, you're gone. Just like that. No one ever sees you again. All you'll hear is, he went to the family farm. Even though he's never had a family or a farm. Yeah, well, Jeff, I'm pretty sure they still end up as worm food, based on what you told me. So, this is kind of awkward, but do you ever feel tempted by your demon blood? Waljif's tail whips back and forth nervously, raising clouds of dust. Why, you an inquisitor or something? What's it to you? If I've wronged you somehow, just come out and say it. Don't ask me trick questions. I know how it happens. I used to know a fella. He was married to the sister of a guard. Some shady types got him drunk one night and started asking him suspicious questions about the gods, about the queen. So he wakes up hungover with a headache, someone's mumbling something, it smells like smoke, and his feet are kinda hot. He looks down and there's a fire under him, and the prelate is reading out his sentence. You know, I would suggest that was hyperbole, but I met Halrin Shapik, so yeah. What about that thing with your shadow? How do you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, no dark magic, no fraud. Oh. Uh-oh, I hope that's not a problem. A trick without any deception. Waljif snaps his fingers and blue flame engulfs him. The shadow that was previously lying calmly at his feet grows, floating in the air behind him. It is the shadow of a huge, horned, winged demon with claws. Ta-da! It doesn't do anything, it just looks scary. I remember when I was little, an old beggar showed me and my friends how to make shadow puppets. You put your fingers together in front of a light and it makes the shadow of a deer or a dog or a dove on the wall. I tried so hard. I wanted to make the best shadow, and I did. It just happened. Waljif chuckles sadly. Funnily enough, that's the last time I had any real friends. They tried to stone me later, screaming at me, calling me a demon. A tiefling is always a demon to these wimps. Even the lowest-ranking drunken gnome thinks he's better than me, just because he hasn't got horns or a tail. The poorest beggar in the filthiest gutter thinks he's better than me. Most people would never show their shadow again after that first time, but I don't care. If stones start flying again, I'll just run. I'm used to it by now. Gotta say, I kinda like it. Looks badass. Waljif chuckles, pleased. What about the blue fire? That's my favorite part. And it doesn't burn at all. If I had a coin for every time I've caught a beating for my little show here, I'd already be proposing to Galfrey. But still, I don't want to give up something so beautiful. Alright, well, Moljif, it has been a fascinating conversation. I trust you even less than I did before, but at least I understand you slightly more. Come on, let's go take care of your thing with Sister Charisma. Moljif shrugs. Whatever you want, Chief. Okay, now, obviously we've got lots of other things we need to do around the tavern, but today is Moljif Day, so we're just going to ignore most of those. But one thing we do need to do is officially meet the last main vendor in the Defender's Heart, because I want to buy something from him. A stout old man with a fuzzy gray beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? I don't know. I guess that depends on who you are. Viscely Rathamus, rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone, though, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. Yep, I am aware. Who's that with you? This one? Kiado the Shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves a Restal, though. But there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. Well, that's interesting. A cleric of cities and civilization, mentoring a cleric of wilderness and rustic backwoods villages. So what can you guys actually do for me? Well, first of all, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them, something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. But you'd better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself, I'm too old, and my powers are needed here. Look, Rathamus, I would love to have a cleric to go with me out into the city, but I am having a heck of a time finding one. Alright, so as implied, Rathamus does primarily focus on consumable items, a wide variety of scrolls, some of which I may cherry pick in the future. But he also sells a wide variety of crafting ingredients. And given that I do want to actually do some crafting this time around, we'll go ahead and invest in the very basic brewing and scribing kits. And then he also sells a modest assortment of magical accessories, several of which are potentially useful, but only one of which we're here for right now. That's interesting, but completely useless to us right now, because we don't have anyone who can actually cast Death Ward. This is what we're here for, the Bracers of the Wizard. That'll help bump up Ember's AC just slightly, though she'll still be incredibly vulnerable. And it will also bump up her Arcana a bit, which is good because she's going to be our primary Arcana character. Unless I decide to switch around some of Moljif's skills, maybe. I'm still debating on that. Looking good, Ember. Now we just need to get you some actual, like, clothes and stuff. Okay, now we are ready to head out. Adventure awaits. Oh, wait, no, stop. Adventure will have to wait a little longer. I forgot to rest. This also gives us a chance to get a proper meal buff going, +1 to all skill checks. And to scribe our first scroll, which for now will just be to share spells between Nenio and Moljif. Moljif is our arcane buffer, so we're going to focus on giving him buffs first. Yeah, that's fine.
You shouldn't be angry that you're a tiefling. Tieflings are made when a human and a demon love each other so much that they become a mommy and a daddy.
I don't know what the deal was with Granny and old Granddaddy, some creepy ritual or pure animal lust, or whatever those cultists call it, but I can tell you now there was no love or talk of mommies and daddies.
Wow, that is an incredibly awkward and yet somehow still very appropriate conversation given the context of this episode. Thanks, guys. Alright, so now we can resume our adventuring. Onward, my friends. No need to dwell on whatever you two were just talking about. Sorry, Cam, you're gonna sit this one out. But we'll come back for you once we're ready to hit Gorm's place. Thiefling's Hideout. A spacious, well-furnished cellar under the hardware store serves as the hideout for Thieflings in Canabris. This is where the eldest sister, Charisme, appointed by the family, conducts the gang's affairs by planning robberies and sharing the loot between the gang members. Well, that looks slightly ominous. Hey, you. I've got my eyes on you. Yeah, well, I've got my eyes on you, too. And so does Kaz. And 4 eyes beat, too. You know what? Never mind. That really sounded better in my head. The basement is dark and dank, and you are immediately struck by the hostility of the gathered tieflings. 5 of them are kneeling along the wall, separate from the rest. The tall woman, who had been cleaning her fingernails with the tip of her knife, greets you with narrowed eyes. Brother Waljiff, you got my message then. Sorry I couldn't swing by sooner, dear sister Charisme. It was just one thing after another. First I was in shackles, next, well no, I was still in shackles. And I was being watched. And then the chief got me out, and I came here straight away. I knew you'd been waiting on me. Enough talking, or we'll be here all night. So, we had a clear plan. We were going to wait for nightfall, slip into the shop, grab the goods, and leave. Even if the neighbors called the guard, there was time to get away. But what happened? That bitch, Irabeth, showed up almost right away. She knew we'd be there. Somebody betrayed us. And I have a pretty good idea who it was. What do you have to say to that? Make it quick. And what, exactly? You think Waljiff knows who tipped the guards off? Charisme turns to you. He speaks. I thought Waljiff only brought you so he'd have someone to hide behind if things went south. Well, that would be quite a trick. I'd actually like to see that. Now, hiding behind Kaz, on the other hand. That I could see. Yes, he knows the name of the traitor. Every gang that Brother Waljiff has been part of has very quickly come to an end. Their hideout location was passed to the guards, or their competitors found out where they could ambush them. Waljiff is the only one who always comes out smelling of roses. If you think about it, he'll come to the same conclusion as us. Whoa now, you can't just use someone's past against them like that. Just because Waljiff betrayed everyone else doesn't mean he betrayed you. Come on. I'd have said that meant that Waljiff was cursed with finding friends among losers and screw-ups. But now that he's with us, that must mean the curse has been broken. You know, there is a demon invasion going on right now. You don't think maybe we could put this on the back burner until we're not going to be eaten alive? Charisme purses her lips. I'd be glad to leave, like the rest of my brothers and sisters. But in the family, there's nothing worse than betrayal, and it's something we do not forgive. We don't forgive anyone who lets traitors off the hook, either. If I don't find the rat, my superiors, let's just say, I'll wish I was burning in Canabris. I want to keep living, so I'm going to take a chance. Until I find out who is the traitor here, no one is leaving. Alright, fine. Waljeff, out with it. What's your side of the story? Let's get this clown show over with. What's there to tell? About a week ago, Sister Charisma got 6 of us together in this very basement. Me and those 5 over there, I mean. Waljeff jerks his head toward the 5 tieflings kneeling by the wall. She rounds us up, and she says we've got a score. Ancient trees and wonders. The one place nobody's ever been able to hit. The place that's guarded by a golem. But now, a powerful scroll that would knock out the golem just happened to come into our possession, along with a tip-off that the shop owner would be gone on a particular night. All 6 of us know a bit of magic, and we know that any enchanted junk will sell for a pretty penny. So, we're in. And the most important thing was that none of us was to be hanging about the shop ahead of the job. No casing out the place, no calling attention to ourselves from either the golem or its master. This job was top secret. That's all true so far. Go on. We did everything right, with the locks and the golem. I picked the lock. I remember it clear as day. Sister Dalna was on lookout. Brother Melround had the scroll. Doffy, Tabby, and Varnier brought the sacks. We covered the windows and lit the torches. I remember scooping up rings and tossing them in a sack, and one right expensive one rolled away from me. I crawled under a table after it, and next thing I know, Irabeth was there. Everyone scampered. But I was still under the table. Not my finest moment. I was going to wait it out, but then those blockheads were dragging me out by my tail and put me in shackles. They took all my rings off me, about 20,000's worth. And to add insult to injury, I never even found that last one. In the end, I got busted over nothing. So, they caught you, poor thing, stripped you of your loot, and you didn't even manage to stash anything. Charisma is pointedly polishing her knife. Where's the Moon of the Abyss, Brother Waljeff? Oh, hold on. What's the Moon of the Abyss? Oh, it was an amulet. It used to sit on a little cushion in the window of Ancient Trees and Wonders. Sterling silver, sparkled like a star. Fine piece of work. On one side there was a half moon, a crescent, a waning moon. And in the middle there was a dark crystal, like it was eclipsing the moon. Old Man Fileman was so proud of that amulet. He used to say, "I'll never sell it. It's the jewel of my collection." Waljeff sighs unhappily. I used to go there to see what kind of treasures there were in the world. There's nothing else to look at in Canabris. People used to claim it was a powerful thing. But who's to say? If you ever stole a thing like that, you'd have the guards on you the second you tried to fence it. Everybody knows that you were always hanging around Ancient Trees and Wonders, drooling over the Moon of the Abyss. Did you think you could swipe it in all the commotion and keep it for yourself? Did you hope that we'd all be locked up and you'd get off scot-free, and with a fancy trinket to boot? Don't take me for a mug, Waljeff. I see right through you. Now, hold on a second. When I met Waljeff, he was cooling his heels in a jail cell. If he's Irabeth's informant, why would she keep him locked up? Took the words right out of my mouth. It doesn't make any sense. If I was the rat, I'd have kissed her on the hand and been long gone by now. You know me, sister. I'm a cautious fella, not an idiot. Why would I go against the family? So the fish and the sailing can have a nice Waljeff-sized dinner? The Moon of the Abyss is a pretty bauble, to be sure, but it's just an amulet. It ain't worth dying over. You knew Irabeth's people would protect you. You knew you could pin the moon going missing on them. And now you've come here with backup. You knew exactly what I was going to say to you. Only problem is, nobody's returned the amulet to Fileman. Are you giving Irabeth a cut? Is that it? Have you seen her? Do you think she'd take a cut of anything I offered her? She can't be bought. She's like 3 Heralds of Iomedae all rolled into one. He speaks the truth. You'll find some knights who will take bribes, I'm sorry to say. But Irabeth Tirabade isn't one of them. Yeah, I cannot disagree with that assessment. Anything else, Woljif? That's the whole sorry story. Woljif crosses his arms, looking affronted. Some family this turned out to be. It's just a name in the end. In a real family, people take each other at their word. They don't throw around accusations. I didn't take the Moon of the Abyss. What am I going to do with it? You can't sell it to no crusaders. It's a special item. You can't wear it, it'll get nicked. It's pretty to look at, sure, but it ain't that pretty. If it's that important to you, Sister Charisme, I'll find it, and I'll drag the traitor here by his horns, just so's you don't end up at the bottom of the sailing. But do you know what you're going to owe me for that? An apology. Right here, in front of everyone, you're going to apologize loud and clear so everybody hears it. You'll say, "Sorry, Woljif, you're a good guy, and I was wrong about you." Fine. You're one of my people, which is why I'm going to give you some time. But if you run, Brother Woljif, the family will get you wherever you go. You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, tossing and turning at night, fearing poison in every cup and every meal. You'll look into the eyes of every tiefling you meet, wondering if the family's come for you. You'll have no peace. But one day, you'll be tired of running. You'll stop to catch your breath. And that is when we'll get you. Got that? You've got a way with words, Sister Charisme. A way that almost made me wet myself, but a way nonetheless. Let's go, Chief. We'll go chat with that scary gal, Irabeth. She knows you a little. We can ask her who ratted us out. I'll let you do the talking. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll find out who the real traitor is. But you're gonna owe us for this. I don't work cheap. And I'll get my apology. Onward to Irabeth, Chief. Let's go clear my good name. Root out the traitor, but be quick about it. Time's running out. I don't want to get chewed up by demons. Well, then you might be in the wrong line of work, sister. Hey, sup? So he's the traitor. Hey, Woljif, how much did they pay you? At last, Brother Woljif has revealed his true face. Kill the traitor! Pack your bags, Brother Woljif. We're sending you to the farm. Wow, Woljif, I gotta say, these people do not seem to like you. I'm sure it's just them, and totally not you. Ooh. Lockpicker's kit. +1 on trickery. Nice. We will immediately slap that on Woljif's belt. I mean, he is a member of the Thieflings in good standing-ish. So I see no reason why he can't partake of their tools. Clear off. We're closed. I have other things to worry about. Yep, that's fair. I'll come back later, when you're all dead. Okay, so we need to, what are we doing? Oh, right, we have to ask Irabeth about the informant. And we have to tell her about the Tower of Estrid, too, so we can do that at the same time. Nice. We'll go have a quick chat with Irabeth, and then we'll head straight back out. We've got about 30 minutes left to play with. Irabeth rubs her eyes and looks to you. Any successes? Report, soldier. Not a soldier, but, yes, I actually found that Janna gal you were asking about. Turns out she's not dead after all. Yes, thank you. It's good to have her back. We need every fighter we can get. Irabeth frowns. Though, I suppose it's asking too much to want fighters that are sober as well. Look, I did what you wanted me to do. It's a bit late for qualifiers now. Also, I scouted the Tower of Estrid like you wanted. Turns out the cultists are all dead. Because I killed them. Great. The places where the demons have gathered need to be cleared one by one. Then they won't be able to stab us in the back when we take on the Great Garrison. Thank you for your service. Aw, shucks, it was nothing. But if you really want to pay me back... Now this might seem a bit weird, but you know that attempted robbery on Ancient Trees and Wonders? You couldn't maybe tell me who your informant was in that caper, could you? Irabeth arches a brow in surprise. Canabris is threatened by a demon horde, and you have enough spare time to help out thieves. Irabeth sighs. I don't like this, but I hope you know what you're doing. I'll tell you everything I know. I did not see my informant's face. He slipped out of a dark alley, handed me a note, and disappeared. Irabeth hesitates as she tries to remember. He had a cloak with a hood masking his face, but the horns, the long horns, didn't fit under it. There should be a guardian golem in Ancient Trees and Wonders, the shop they tried to rob. The owner gave us the construct's code word just in case. The golem itself was destroyed, but the head seems to be intact, so you can interrogate the thing and find out what it saw. The code word is Hand of Irori. The shop's owner must have escaped, but there's a chance you'll get lucky with the golem. Inappropriate. Unless I suppose it's a really let's not go there. Thank you, Irabeth. I appreciate your assistance. And the open license to loot whatever's left at that shop. What was that? Nothing. Gotta go. Farewell! Alright, I think we're done here. I will admit it is tempting to chat with a few more folks here. We do have some other things we need to get done. But we'll save that for next time. Besides, we've got an unguarded magic shop to loot. Even if we are the 4th or 5th in line. Ah, nice. That's not far at all. We do still have to keep that hidden timer in mind. Ooh, and here I was thinking we might not actually get any combat. Let us revel in some gratuitous bloodshed. Ah. These guys aren't even trying. And here I was hoping we'd be up against something we could really sink our teeth into. We'll save our resources, take these guys out old school. Ah, my ankle. Ah, my molecular cohesion. I now want those to be my last words. And we're done. Nice going, guys. You cost me a single blinding ray. And gave me 300 plus gold worth of loot in return. That's actually a pretty generous exchange rate on blinding rays. Ancient Trees and Wonders. A reputable old shop whose name speaks for itself. The inside resembles a private collection, for the antiquities displayed in the showcases and on the shelves are so rare that only the Queen herself could possibly afford to pay the full price for them. Don't do that. Don't get my hopes up. We're gonna get like 2 usable items and then a big pile of vendor trash. Hippity-hop. Alright, let us commence with the looting. The polished oak shelves once showcased magic rings and amulets. Now all that's left are the grubby handprints of the robbers. Boo. Hello? Is anyone there? Please, get me out of here. I can hear your footsteps. Pull me out. Hello? Phew, free at last. I thought I'd be flattened like a pancake under that rubble. Much obliged. Damn, I'm not in any pain, but my head is still foggy for some reason. What's with all the hubbub in the city? The name's Finian. I'm a Pathfinder. If there's anything I can do to help, I will. You're a Pathfinder. You sure about that? That's right. Finian Dismar, Pathfinder and Crusader. I roam around the world wound wherever my tasks lead me, scouting mostly. But this last while I've just been hanging around in Canabris, waiting until I'm needed again. I'm bored out of my mind, but at least this shop makes for better lodging than some inn. I'm sorry, I think we had a bit of a miscommunication there. What I meant to say was, what are you? What's that supposed to mean? I just told you. You want to know where I hail from, is that it? Well, I'm from around here, actually. We Kellids of the Star Eye clan fled when the World Wound troubles began. But I couldn't stand by while the demons wreaked havoc. So I came back. Okay, well that would be like 120 years ago, but sure. Or did you mean to ask me my weapon of choice? My best weapon is every weapon. I'm a skilled and capable fellow, if I do say so myself. I can swing a sword and poke with a spear. But what I'm best at is communing with the spirits. They call folks like me Phantom Blades. Okay, now I think we're getting somewhere. What's a Phantom Blade? It's like a spiritualist, but with a twist. It means that some spirit took a liking to me at some point, and it can turn into whatever weapon I need. Handy, eh? I don't need any whetstones or enchantments. Doesn't take up space either. Although, to be fair, it's not a barrel of laughs. The spirits that bestow this kind of power don't come from happy places, and they're not exactly bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They usually appear after great battles that leave few survivors. You don't say. Well, that might actually explain a few things, I suppose. How'd you end up here, in this shop? I've been here so long I don't even remember anymore. Just sitting and waiting for any word from the Pathfinders. But it looks like everyone has forgotten about me. The shop owner is an old friend of the Pathfinders, so I've taken up residence here. On this shelf, I see. Okay, yeah, that sounds plausible. Alright, well, since you asked, the city's been overrun by demons and pretty much everyone's dead. Wait, what? The last thing I saw was some thieves breaking in here. Then the guards came, everyone was running around. After that, it's a bit of a blur. Right when things got intense, they dropped the cabinet on me. I couldn't even help the owner. I was just lying under the shelves like a dimwit until you came along. If there are demons in Canabris, we must do something about it. The city needs every blade it can get. Hey, do you mind taking me with you? I don't think I can handle this alone. And besides, the more, the merrier. Sure, why not? Welcome aboard, Finian, the, glowing eyeball. I swear you won't regret it. I can do all sorts of things. Is there anything your party is missing? A sword? A spear? A bow? Just say the word. Wow, he's actually worth 15,000 gold, okay. I mean, not that I would actually sell him, I'm just saying. Lovely. That is a solid upgrade. Finian's a mutable magic weapon, which can indeed help fill gaps in our arsenal. He also has his own special dialogue and quest arc, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Maybe we'll do that next time. We'll have a chat with Hylor and the storyteller, and then Finian himself, and get the ball rolling with that stuff. In the short term, however, we will see if we can just put him to good use. +1 Cold Iron Ghost Touch, which isn't actually all that much better than what we've currently got. So, you know what we'll do with him is I think we'll go ahead and transform him into a composite longbow for Lan. That's a good way to make sure that every shot counts as cold iron, and as a bonus can affect intangible creatures. Some scrolls have been torn apart, and some have been trodden on by muddy boots. Well, that is a crying shame. That was potential loot. Oh, cool. And a random heart just sitting on a shelf. That's normal. That's not weird at all. Oh, and yet another name drop for Derek Sunhammer. I mean, the item itself is just vendor trash, but it is strange that they keep name-dropping that character. They really want that name in your head. This is where it lay. The Moon of the Abyss. I thought you said it was in the window. What am I looking at? Pipe Fox. The magnificent Pipe Fox is both elegant and incredibly smart. Being attracted to people who share a similar thirst for knowledge, Pipe Fox is eager to join your adventures and help you with all its acquired knowledge and wits. +3 insight bonus on Arcana, and +2 on Perception, okay. That was a cat in the beta. Let's have a look at this thing. That's an insight bonus, so we'll toss it to Ember. That should stack with her bracers. Oh no. I cannot tell if that is adorable or unsettling. I guess I'll just call it unsortling. Well, welcome aboard, Pipe Fox. You know, I really thought that the glowing eyeball on a stick was going to be the weirdest addition to our crew on this particular venture, but, I'm happy to be proven wrong? Question mark? Oh, you know, the ring there. That does kind of back up Waljif's story. And we've got some duplicate descriptive text. Weird. Unique weapons and antique armor were previously displayed on these stands. It's unlikely their new owners even know their true value. Bummer. The formerly well-appointed shop now looks a sorry state. It has been completely ransacked. Lying in the corner next to a scorched wall are the soot-covered shards of a clay golem's head. The golem's eyes glow in the gloom. Master. Code word. Hand of Aurori. Code word. Correct. The golem's eyes glow brighter. Awaiting orders. Cool. What are you? This golem was created by Gaffreen and Son. Address, 3rd building on the right, Jeweler's Alley. Neurosian, Mendev. Model G504ENE, which stands for Experimental and Enhanced. For all inquiries, contact Mr. Gaffreen. Will do. Would you mind telling me about any notable people who may have come into the shop the past few days? The golem is silent for a moment. 56 individuals entered the shop. Human female, old. Gnome male, old. Human female. He'll be reeling off customers till nightfall. We need to ask it in a different way. Alright, were any of those people tieflings? The golem is silent again. Tieflings, 3. Tiefling male, middle-aged. Tiefling male, young. Tiefling female, young. Great. Start with the young male tiefling. Tiefling male, medium height. Short horns curled backwards. Medium length tail. Eye color, yellow. Hair color, black. Special observations. Annoyed master. Gosh, who could that have possibly been? Horns? Hair? Tail? That sounds like me. But that's not possible. I know what the security's like here. I didn't come near the place. I give you my word, Chief. Yes, of course, your word. And who am I to possibly doubt our resident tiefling rogue? No special observations. Subject was unremarkable. There, see? Can't have been me. Right. Describe the middle-aged tiefling next. Tiefling male, medium height, long horns, medium-length tail, eye color, pale blue, skin color, dark, special observations, red hair. Okay, Irabeth also specified long horns, so that, at least, appears to match up. Oh, that's our trader. I'd bet your life on it. Really, Waljiff? Come on, man. I'm helping you. Charisma drilled it into our heads that we wasn't to go hanging about the shop. Red hair. We've got a couple of gingers, and plenty more who get it out of a bottle. So much for a special observation. Golems ain't all they're cracked up to be, eh? Maybe its master knows more. Hold on, Waljiff. We're not quite done. Hey, G, describe the female tiefling. Tiefling female, above average height, hair, long, pale, tail, not observed, long horns, eye color, blue, special observations, scar on nose, baldric with gold stitching. I don't know that one. A new arrival, most likely. Gold stitching, eh? Wouldn't mind getting to know her a little better. Easy now, Waljiff. Oh, yeah, I can see the appeal. The golem is silent, waiting for an order. Hey, G, where's your boss at? Fileman Fruliatros, my master, is in his hiding place. Revealing the location of the hiding place is prohibited. 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 He likely holed himself up in the basement when the commotion started. The entrance should be around here somewhere. Okay, G, where is the basement? The basement is below me. I guard the basement. Leaving my post is prohibited. Prohibited. I think I get the idea. Thanks, G. I've got it from here. Oh, yep, there we go.
Thanks, Lan. You're so awesome, Lan.
Thanks, Lan. You're awesome, Lan. And there is our elusive shopkeep. Fileman Frou. Hola! The elderly gnome, so portly as to be nearly spherical, is curled up in the corner of the basement, shaking. Marauders! Bandits! Scavengers! Yeah, makes sense. We're all those things, and much, much more. Before you report us to the authorities, mind if we have a chat? Thanks, Lan. You're so awesome, Lan. Okay, let's all settle down before I have to start stabbing. I don't like being called names. The gnome's hands scrabble around on the floor, seemingly in search of something to hurl at you. The Eagle Watch have probably caught up with the bandits by now, and you won't get off lightly either. You can be sure of that. The gnome notices Waljeff, and his rounded face turns scarlet. You, Waljeff, the dirty little sneak thief. You've been sniffing around my shop for years. Finally worked up the courage to rob me, did you? Get out of here! You and your pals have taken everything already, I'm sure. The gnome seems to settle slightly. My name's Fileman Fruliatros. I was the owner of this shop, but I'm not sure I can claim to be the owner of anything now. I hope there's at least something left of it. Oh, come off it. Your shop's fine. It's a bit ransacked, maybe, but nothing a bit of spit and polish can't fix. Look, I just need you to answer some questions, and then I will happily be on my way. Where were you the night of the robbery? Do you think I robbed my own shop? I was here, in the basement. I was told to make it look like I'd left. The watch was very keen to get their hands on those thieflings. They seem to be multiplying all over Galarion. So, of course, I did everything they said. And I've been stuck in this basement since then. The golem wouldn't move away from the door, no matter how much I yelled at it. But then I thought that it was all to the good. Somebody came by after the guards and caused a ruckus upstairs, bellowing like mad, taking advantage of my absence. Okay, tell me about the 3 tieflings who visited your shop recently. Why should I tell you anything about my customers? You're not from the City Guard or the Eagle Watch. Actually, a funny story there, I am, and also I'm about to feed you to my half-ton murder cat. Chief, if he keeps digging his heels in, just say the word. I know how to loosen his tongue. It's fine, Waljeff, I've got this. Fileman, I am working for the City Watch. Just answer my questions. I'll go away. Or don't, and see what happens. So, they haven't caught the thieflings? I thought the city's finest were on the job, and they'd... The gnome sighs. You can't rely on anyone. Ask your questions, then, if it's so important. Great. Let's start with Waljeff. What can you tell me about this guy? This charming fellow right here. Fileman's face wrinkles in distaste. Waljeff Jeffto, right? Yes, I've known him a long time, though I'd rather not known him at all. He's been skulking around my shop for years, treating the place like a free museum. He always wanted to look at the moon of the abyss. I'd chase him out, but he'd just slink back in again. If he was with the gang that robbed my shop, I'll bet anything he swiped the moon. How come I'm the prime suspect? Whoever betrayed us all, that's the one who's got the moon. I want to see it return too, you got me? I don't like the idea of other people's grubby mitts on it. Thank you, Waljeff. Very convincing. Okay, what about the red-haired tiefling? Fileman falls to thinking. A red-haired tiefling? I suppose, yes. There was one who came in. Spent a long time looking around. He was a person of modest means, I could tell by his clothes. But he asked me to show him some Aasimar-made chainmail. He certainly couldn't afford it. That's when I suspected that something was off. I checked everything after he left, but nothing was missing. And that put my mind at ease. Interesting. It does make it sound like he was casing the place. Despite Sister Charisme's instructions not to. I can't remember what he looked like. I didn't get a good look at his face. All I remember is that he was wrapped in a green cloak, like he was freezing. But that's all I have. That's it. With that description, we'll surely sniff him out. Come on, Chief, back to Sister Charisme we go to have a good long shifty at my brother's and put all these clues together. Something tells me our traitor isn't going to wriggle out of this one. Hold on, Waljeff, we do have one more suspect. You can't just pin it on the first person who's not you. Fileman, what about the female tiefling? Fileman scratches his chin. A tiefling woman. Ah, yes, I remember now. A noble lady, unlike the tiefling ruffians we have around here. She purchased magical equipment for the crusade, and she promised to come again. If only all tieflings were like that, I'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Okay. Well, that is intriguing. But I suppose it also doesn't sound like someone who was getting ready to rob the place. Why would you buy a bunch of expensive stuff if you were planning on robbing the place right afterwards anyway? I am going to try to remember that, though. A noble tiefling woman with a scar on her nose and gilded baldric. That might be a character we end up running into later down the line. Alright, frilly flip-flops. I think that was everything we needed. Thanks for your time. If that isn't enough to help you catch the thieves, then I don't know what else to tell you. Now be on your way and leave me in peace with my wreck of a shop. Will do. Filing cabinet Fruitopia. It has been a pleasure. Actually, you know what? It kind of has. What with the, 20,000 gold worth of loot we found here? Our talking weapon and our unsortling fox snake. What are you? Anyway, we're at the hour mark. I need to go take care of something, and also my mouth is full of blood, so let's hit the pause button, and we'll be right back. And we are back. You know, I thought about wrapping the episode, but I think we're pretty close to the end of Waldjif's first main arc, so we'll push on for an extra 15 or 20, whatever it takes. Huh. And it's also really just stressing the red hair and the green cloak. Interesting. Alright, well, let's go find us a trader. One who is preferably not Waldjif. Greetings! We have returned to ruin someone's life. Aha, and it does appear we have one tiefling with red hair and a green cloak. Charisme drums her fingers nervously on the handle of her blade. Well, are you going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the moon of the abyss that they stole. I don't need anything else. Actually, I met some other tieflings from your gang. One of them got trapped in a tunnel, but don't worry, I saved him. Charisme shrugs. Then what? We all made a pact, everyone for themselves. We'll meet up at the arranged time and place. If they were dumb enough to crawl into some hole in the ground, that's their lookout. I'm not their nanny. Cool. You seem like a sweetheart, Charisme. Alright, I am ready to toss someone to your tender mercies. Well, go on, tell her. Pretty sure it's that guy. Unless he changed his cloak. You'll pay for this. Votiel and Hepzimira will get you in the end. Oh. Grab him. Take him away for questioning. So that's why it's the farm. They plant daggers in people. Charisme looks weary, but her earlier tension is clearly lifted. He confessed. Someone connected to the cult of Baphomet ordered him to steal the moon of the abyss, and the best idea he could come up with was to drag us into it. He got the scroll to take out the golem. He betrayed us to Erebeth, so that he could swipe the amulet in the chaos. He thought we'd get nicked, and he'd slink off to meet up with his customer. You've got the moon of the abyss? Let me look at it one more time. My whole life I've dreamt of holding it in my hands, if only for a second. He said when he got to the window display the moon was gone. He's lying, of course. He had time to hand the moon off to the person who ordered it. Bloody cultists. I don't really give a toss. I'm just glad we got to the bottom of this. So, now that that's over, what's next for you guys? Clearing out of this place. The sooner the better. This city's dying. I don't want to die with it. This city would have already died, if not for the people who stood up to defend it, with weapons in their hands. So defend it. I'm not stopping you. It's your city. But we've always been outsiders here. Why would we fight for you now? Well, what if, say, I joined the family? Charisme bursts out laughing. What, just like that? You can have your pick of the non-tiefling gangs. You've no need to tread on our territory. The family is for tieflings only. No exceptions. Well, it was worth a shot. So, what about Greencloak? What are you guys doing with him? Charisme nonchalantly picks at her nails with her knife tip. He'll be sent to visit his distant relatives on their farm, to think about what he did. Any more questions? I've never been to a farm. I imagine it's really pretty. Fields and apple trees and chickens. Charisme gives Ember a sideways glance. Yeah, sure. Chickens. And on that note, I think we're done. Charisme, it's been real. Catch you on the flip side. Good decision. I don't plan to hang around long either. Charisme turns to leave. Sister? Waldif nervously bites his lip. His cheeks are flushed and his tail is swishing through the air. You forgot something. What now? You should be happy to be alive. An apology. You promised to apologize to me, loudly, in front of everyone. We're alone now, but I still want to hear it. Well? Ah, that. Charisme shrugs indifferently. So, sorry, I suppose, for being wrong about you. This time. Don't think that just because you didn't act like a jerk this one time, that it cancels out the rest of your record. I know all about you. Till next time, Waldif. Yeah, that was the saddest apology I think I've ever heard. You want to try that again? Charisme's eyes harden, but then she sighs. All right, fine. I'm sorry, Waldif. Let's part on good terms. Oh, you guys. Now apologize to me, too. You really want to stay on my good side. Trust me. A flurry of emotions pass across Charisme's face. When she finally opens her mouth, her words trickle out slowly, like each one is a struggle. And I'm sorry to you, too. And to make it up to you, here. She pulls a key from her pocket and tosses it to you. And now, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Waldif watches her go, his tail relaxing. You made some impression on her. I've never seen Sister Charisme back down before. Listen, Chief, when you've got a spare minute, come see me. I've something I want to discuss with you. But for now, let's get out of here. I don't like sitting below ground when the building above is ready to crash down on our heads. Whoa, whoa. Slow thine roll, my tiefling companion. We have a vault to plunder. What secrets await us within this thiefling vault? Ah, a death trap. Yes, I guess I should have expected that. Ah, a super secret secondary vault. Clever girl. Right. So this is just the token treasure to make you think you found your way into the vault, while the real stuff is hidden in the back. Oh, actually. Maybe not. Otherwise they wouldn't have a valuable magic ring sitting in this chest. Shooting an enemy engaged in melee combat imposes a -1 penalty on attack rolls for 1 round. Ooh, nice. That is going right on Lan. Not too shabby. So let's see what the real treasure is. Okay. Oh, well. I guess that's not terrible. So it was more of a 50-50 split between the main vault and the secondary vault. Thiefling's Account Book. Balance, 2,500 gold. Doffy, Alchemical Tools and Reagents, 185 gold. Dalna, Violin, Antique, needs appraisal, 10 gold taken out. Waljif, Magic Scrolls, 420 gold. Tabby, Working the Square, 15 gold. Note, I bet the swindler got 5 times the amount and pocketed the difference. I need to give that rogue a good scare next time. Charisma, 80 gold taken out. Informers, contacts, other expenses. Doffy, Working the Market, 25 gold. Melrune, 70 gold taken out for tool replacement. Tabby, Spices, 370 gold. Crema, Magic Rings, 250 gold. Gort, Handbound Books, 180 gold. Appraiser, the violin is worth 5 gold. Note, do not send Dalna on a job by herself. Charisma, 400 gold taken out. Informers, contacts, other expenses. Charisma, 1,000 gold taken out. Balance, 2,390 gold. Here, the handwriting changes drastically. The letters are now small, scrawly, and hectic. Balance, 2,390 gold. But there's only 1,500 in the chest. Some shithead got their hands on my treasury. I bet my horns it's Waljif, that rotten mug. Next time I see that bloody swine, he's going to the farm. Ah, Waljif, you wacky scoundrel. Though, to be fair, if anyone's skimming, it really feels like it might be Charisma. She took out an awful lot for contacts and whatnot. Though, who knows, maybe that is actual legitimate expenses. Legitimate. Rank doth have its privileges. Still, that was an entertaining read. Has anyone ever done like a really good Thieves Guild simulator? It feels like it would be a fun concept, if done right. Vex? Oh, I see. Yeah. Sometimes when you're mounted, you have trouble interacting with objects, so he was stuck until he dismounted so he could finish looking in that chest. Let's head back to the Defender's Heart and wrap this up. I do notice that they now have your characters automatically dismount when entering a safe zone like this one. Back in Beta 3, being mounted would cause certain cutscenes to just break completely. So I guess this is their way around it. That's not the right way.
Look, Chief, I got something to show you. Ta-da! A real beaut, isn't it?
Waljif comes closer and looks around quickly to make sure no one is eavesdropping. He makes a subtle gesture, and an amulet on a chain appears in his hand. A silver amulet in the shape of a waning moon, with a dark crystal in the middle. The moon of the abyss. Wait, so you did betray the Thieflings?
Oof, that cuts me deep, Chief. You and I saw who the traitor was. It's just that when we robbed the shop, I went in first and took what I wanted. Nothing wrong with that. Although, of course, I did think about hiding the moon and just taking myself off somewhere warm when all this blows over, but only because I want to see the world. Is it a crime to want to travel, huh? Is that what counts for treachery these days?
Waljif is silent for a moment. Then a cunning grin crosses his face. So you just had the amulet this whole time?
Since that night, Chief, Melround didn't even set eyes on it. While he was dealing with the golem, I sneaked past them, and that was that.
Waljeff grins, pleased. I don't get it. Why is this so important to you?
Do you really not remember it? Oh, I thought you would appreciate it. It's from the old man Fileman, the owner of the Ancient Trees and Wonders shop. It's the pride of his collection. The Moon of the Abyss, an amulet with a rare crystal crafted by an unknown maker. When I think of how much this thing is worth, it makes my head spin.
How did you hold on to this? You were in a jail cell. Where'd you hide it?
Thieves have their ways.
Waljeff grins. You know what? I immediately retract that question. I don't want an answer. Please and thank you. Also, I don't want to touch that. It's all yours, buddy. Why didn't you just give that to Charisma to get her off your back?
What? So she would slay me right away, you mean? You saw how antsy she was over Canabras and all this. So I did it. I took the Moon of the Abyss. But I didn't go to Erebeth, and Big Sister wouldn't hear my explanations. She doesn't have the time. I even thought I'd hide the moon somewhere, and then when all the noise had died down, I'd go get it and make a run for it. I'm sick of the thieflings, and they never appreciated me anyway.
Waljeff, I don't think you've really thought this out. You stole the one thing that everyone is now looking for. You said it yourself. You'll be made the second you try to sell it. What exactly is your plan here? Excuse me, Bibu. I'm trying to record something right now. Please. Fine.
Why, he asks? It's expensive. Pretty. And you know, it's my amulet, actually. Not meaning I stole it, but I mean, this is my inheritance. My grandma and I were poor. All we had was a jewelry box with the moon in it. She used to store it under the floor in the basement, and she'd take it out sometimes just to look at it.
Waljeff puts his hands in his pockets and looks away.
She was always nicer when she had a few drinks in her, so I could ask her things then. One time I asked where she got it from, and she said it was from a demon. You know, the demon who was my grandfather. He said the moon was to be passed down. My ma was good for nothing and nobody, so that's why Grandma decided to keep the amulet for me. She used to say it would be mine when I grew up. But she couldn't wait until I grew up. She squandered my inheritance when she became a drunk. Took it to Fileman's shop and pawned it. He gave her some coppers for it, and she didn't even haggle. Just grabbed them and ran back to the tavern before last orders.
Waljeff scowls.
I've been going to Fileman's to look at the moon ever since I was a kid. He chased me away, but I just kept going back, so eventually he gave up. He didn't skimp on security. The place was like a fortress, so he wasn't worried about a street rat like me pinching anything. Even when I got more skilled, I couldn't get any closer to it. One day, I had no one to go with. Another day, there were only oafs who'd never stolen anything more than a church donation box. But when Charisma had planned everything out, I realized I had a chance to get the moon and move away from here. Maybe to Garen. I hear it's warmer there. I've stayed with the family for too long.
Waljeff looks away. Boy. You know what, Waljeff? We've all taken a few things that don't belong to us, sometimes off steaming corpses that were not corpses a few seconds earlier, but, just, watch yourself, buddy. Don't steal from the wrong person.
Allies, friends, it's all a load of crap. Life brings us together, forces us to make plans, do whatever it is we do, but it's a safe bet that this ain't forever. I might be a traitor, but the others, are they any better than me? Melround had a good reputation in the family. He was trusted, and you see what happened. If you abide by the law, anyone can rob you. So you need to break the law first when no one expects it, and run before you go soft and get too attached.
Waljeff seems a bit cheerier now. Good for him.
Whatever you think, I owe you. I'm not just a thief. I have my own business selling things. Thanks to you, I'm still in the family. And we have the black market sewn up in this city. It's a good way to sell valuables.
Making sure no one is going to take the amulet from him. Woljif hides it under his shirt and folds his arms on his chest.
So, if you need anything, a scroll or something, just say the word. I have a little portal to our people in Neurosian. You put a note there, and you get what you need. I can't get you anything big, but what they do have is all high quality. Nothing's too good for you, Chief. What's mine is yours. For a price, of course.
I feel like that's not the agreement we came to. But, on the other hand, I guess I did walk away with 25,000 gold worth of loot, so I guess I can't be too sore. Plus, we now have the perfect way to launder our ill-gotten gains. Woljif is standing, repeatedly flipping a coin in the air and catching it. He looks bored, but the tip of his tail is twitching nervously. Noticing you, he perks up. Hey, Chief. How about letting me go? Why would you need a thief in your party? What if I rob you in your sleep? I mean, I'm not going to, for now, but what if I get a rush of inspiration? Well, gosh, then I guess we'd have to find out how well you can thieve without your ankles. My guess is not very well, but I guess it wouldn't really matter because you'd bleed out pretty quickly. Woljif, are you really sticking around, or are you just waiting for a chance to ditch me? Woljif gives you a hurt look. As if I could. There are demons and dangers around every corner. The tiefling stops short. Don't you worry, Chief. I'll work off my debt honestly. I won't stab you in the back or go on the run with your money. And if you buy my wares, I won't have to leave at all. All right, Woljif. Don't make me regret this. Woljif's face breaks into a happy grin. Sure thing, Chief. Now, with all seriousness, I do like having access to Woljif's shop. There are periods where he'll be AWOL, at least for a while. But it's a nice place to dump all of your unique items, just in case you ever have to buy them back. He also gets some halfway decent stuff, though his selection is obviously pretty sparse right now. But it does get updated each time you complete a new chapter. So, we'll have to check in with him from time to time. You know, I almost did go with Estox as our weapon of choice. It just required jumping through too many hoops, and I wasn't sure if we'd find any decent Estox in the game. That's always the risk when you pigeonhole yourself with an oddball exotic. You're really at the mercy of the game master, or in this case, the game. Rapiers felt like a safer bet since Camellia uses them. And I feel pretty safe with Kukris, though I will admit I am less certain there. I guess we'll find out. Worst case scenario, we can always just retrain as needed. So anyway, we are like, 90 minutes in at this point? I forgot to set my timer for the second part, but I feel like that's right. Not that I'm complaining. This was a very talky episode, but I feel like we got a fair amount done. We took care of Woljif's thing, we found Finian, we picked up a handful of other nice magic items. Not to mention the gold and XP. We're not too far off from level 5 now. That's where we should really start hitting our stride. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of our off-screen bookkeeping, and we will pick up here next time. I figure 1, maybe 2 brief conversations around the Defender's Heart, and then we'll book it for the marketplace. Like I said, we'll see if we can balance out all this talking with some nice, good old-fashioned gratuitous violence. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Nothing wrong with that.